First, I'm being naughty. Right. I confess up front I'm being naughty. Because there's this notion that if you're a black person and you went to Australia or New Zealand, you'd be exotic. There are not many like you there.
No.
I spent 5 to 7 weeks there. I saw only 2 black people. One was me, the other was the guy in the mirror.
Sure. So it was the two of you.
It's just us all the time, right? There are no black people. And therefore, I think inevitably, I'm sure people were looking at like this fellow, right?
Yeah.
So I was playing on that stereotype
On your
that
stereotype,
because
yes.
you are not a usual sight,
Yeah.
people may just want to have a bite.
Hello guys, welcome to Bookmark Conversations. It's your host here, Penny. I am with Rams today and we are going to be talking about this amazing book, The Sweetest Taboo. You can see guys, it's red and it's our own South African 50 Shades. We will be talking to him about this amazing book. We want to know more. Why did he write this book and what is exciting about this book? So please stay tuned. I will be chatting to him just now about his book. So hello Rams.
Hello, Penny.
How are you?
Very well. Dark and lovely. That's how I normally answer. Thank you for inviting me. How are you?
I'm good. So so we're gonna be just talking about your book, why you wrote your book, and thank you so much for making time, in your busy schedule, just to come chat with me. I know so we scheduled it a little bit a few weeks ago. It didn't happen, but I'm glad you are
We are here now.
We are here now. So I just want to talk about your book. What inspired you to write it. So my questions are very, very. Even though you see me with my cards, but sometimes I don't even look at them. I'm not even going to read them at all. As we continue with the conversation. But I just want
I'm
to know.
all yours.
I just want you to tell us, like when I saw your book. So the cover of the book also. Let me just start there. I always say to authors, for me, the cover of the book and the title of the book, it must always be in sync. It must be together. And you've done an amazing job here. Red, sexy. It means sexy. And the book is all about that.
Yeah.
Right?
Thank you.
So you got that right.
Thank you very much.
100% on there. So it's now I just want to know more about the book. Why did you write the book? Sweetest Taboo, like I was singing for you earlier. Shade.
Huh?
So Sweetest Taboo, everybody knows that song. So I love the book. So that's another thing I wanted to ask about your title, the title of your book. So if you can just tell us, firstly, how did you come to title this book, The Sweetest Taboo? Why? Why is Sweetest Taboo?
Very easy.
Is there a Sweetest Taboo also?
Well,
do we have a Sweetest Taboo?
The entire book is about taboo, really, but
Yeah.
the title came from the fact that the protagonists, somewhere in the book,
Yes.
make love to the song Sweetest Taboo.
Yes.
And the title, by the way, was the 4th attempt to get into a title between me and my publisher. I had a different name when I got to speak to Melinda Ferguson. And then she came up with another, and I said, I don't like that. I came with another, and then we finally came up with The Sweetest Taboo. But actually, technically has nothing to do with the song, but of course it was inspired by the fact that they were making love to the song.
They were making love to the song.
Yeah.
Oh, so the song Sweet. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So it's a lot of things that are happening here in the book. They are coming from that song. It's inspired by that song.
No,
the actions.
That's one part.
Actions.
The rest of the book is inspired by other things.
Okay, no, it is fine. So what I wanted to find out also, my first question to you, how much of the book is based on your personal experience and how much of it is fictional?
I get that a lot. And I always ask myself when people read, say, Stephen King, do they think he kills people in lifts and stuff like that and then go to write a book about it?
Yeah.
Writers create things.
Yes,
We do.
yes,
I walk about, I see people in the mall, I'm driving, somebody irritates me. Big belly, ugly men, I turn them around, I make them a a small
A
woman.
character for
whatever.
something.
We create
Yeah, we
things. That's what we
create
do.
things, yes.
And absolutely nothing is biographical in the book.
Okay.
All this stuff was created.
Yes.
What is true are the places where the book is. I mean, it's a real area. It's the New South Wales in Australia. That's where the book is based, right?
Yes.
And I know it because I've been there. Because I thought, because people ask questions like that question you ask. If I base the book in Soweto, somebody's going to think it's about me or about you. So I think I'm going to take it
You
out
decided
of
to
everybody's
just-
comfort zone and
Yes,
take it to
take it to the
country
different
out of
place.
us.
Yes,
Yeah.
out of us.
Yeah.
Okay, that
So
makes
nothing
it
is
even
biographical. I have
interesting.
not done anything of those things that happen in
But
this
I
book.
love what you just said now, because you're talking about Australia, and you've been there.
Yes.
You've been.
When you
you've
read the
seen-
descriptions
yes,
of the places there, you can tell
you've been there.
I've been there. I spent
lovely.
7 weeks in Australia, so I know those places.
Lovely. So that's one of the other things I always say to the writers. That is, I've read rather books where I can see that there was you're mentioning places that you've never been. It's okay. It doesn't mean that you have to be on all those places, but you have to do your research.
Take the reader with,
So
right?
some people will then give credit at the end to say that thank you so much to so and so who gave me information about, maybe if it's a profession,
Yeah.
if maybe you're writing about crime, then you've never worked in that space, in the forensic space, but then you will then find someone
Exactly.
who has been in that place. So I think that's very, very important.
Because you have to help me, the reader,
Exactly.
to,
Take me
to,
there.
to walk the journey.
Exactly.
So if you're not descriptive, I'm not going to know
I-
what you're dealing with.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much. That's thank you very much for that word. I always say that for me the book. Okay, so I'm a lover of thrillers, crimes, action, all those kind of things, and I can pinpoint very, very quickly if you have not done your research.
Yes.
Because you know what, I want you to take me there to the crime scene.
Yes.
I want you to explain the forensic to me as if you are a forensic police or whatever the
Yeah.
case may be.
Yeah.
So take me there. So do your work.
The research on this one is not difficult. It's about sex.
Yeah. So now from you are, like mature, you're coming from a conservative generation. So what compelled you to write a book about a banker on sexual rendezvous in Australia, or why? Wait, before you answer that, when did you decide to write the book? When?
During COVID. Because I was idle. I had nothing to do. So I thought,
Okay. Oh my God.
spend this time, do something with it, right?
Eish, COVID.
And I pretty
Okay.
much wrote the book in a very short space of time.
Yep. How long
At
did
least
it take you?
90% of the book was, I swear to you, 90% of this book was written in 3 months.
Wow.
Then I did what authors do. I then started doubting my own work. So I stopped writing.
Yes.
Took
So,
me a
so,
while.
so it wasn't a block for you.
No, there was no
so
block.
It was not block for you.
Listen,
Okay.
I wrote
so
every
you
day. There was
stopped.
no mental block.
Okay.
And this book is short. The original book was 120,000 words. This is 69,000 words. I wrote and wrote and wrote again. Right. So no mental block whatsoever. I just started thinking,
Questioning yourself. Yeah.
will this work? Is this good enough? And then at some point I thought, now you got to finish this book. Unfortunately, one of the ladies that was reading the manuscript as I was
Yes,
writing
as you're writing.
was urging me to say, come on, finish up. So I took another few months to finish up the book. But I still sat on the book for another year or two, thinking book is not going to work. Right? But I was telling friends about it, telling a few people about it. Then I started talking to some publishers and the rejection came. And I'm sure you know those stories, right?
Yes, I know those stories.
All my friends
I
here
know
about
those
rejection.
stories.
We
They
get,
know
we
those
get
stories.
rejected all
Yep.
the time. And that didn't help. When the rejection came, I then stopped again.
Oh my God. Okay.
Until a friend of mine says, I know somebody's going to publish this book and I'm going to give them the manuscript.
Yes.
To cut the long story short, here we are.
Here we are.
She got it once, she loved it, and we got it.
Yes. Oh.
So, to answer your question, nothing compelled me to write this book.
Yes.
But I sure was motivated by boredom because we were all locked up.
Everyone was locked up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I had to do something. I couldn't just drink the alcohol on the shelves. I had to do something with the other time.
Yes.
So I wrote.
Yes.
right?
Yes. That you had. Yeah.
But there's another thing that I knew I was doing. I was testing the waters. There are no male erotica writers. Were still no black male erotica writers.
Yes, it's mostly females.
Yes, so I thought
it's mostly females. You're
somebody
right.
must test the
Yes,
waters.
yes.
And why not me?
Yes.
I'm going to test the waters.
Yes. This is your first book?
First fictional book.
First fictional book.
First book I wrote was not fiction. It was
okay.
a book on Thabo Mbeki. It was a
Okay.
take on how he failed at public relations, because I'm a public relations.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm not that guy anymore. It's boring. I wanted fun. And I decided I'm not going to write
Let me
serious
come
books
out of
anymore.
my
I'm
zone.
writing fiction
Come
from
out.
now on. But I
Yes.
also decided erotica. I'm going to go into a space less traveled, difficult, as the book sales will show. But I'll drag South Africa to that new world. Trust me.
You know what? Funny thing now about it, the book. So when my team sent me the book, they said, Penny, we think you need to bring Rams, and here is this book. And I looked at the book, I said, what is the book about to say? I said no. And then my husband, I said, let me see that book. He said, no. We're not going to be talking about that. 50 Shades, only saw 50 Shades. He said no. So people, without even reading it, they are like thinking that, oh, okay, let me see who's the person. And then people will then tend to like you are saying, you're male, you're writing on this topic, and then people are, can I see him? They want to see you.
They want to see the writer. Yes.
They want to see you. They want to see the writer.
Yeah, and I don't know why, because I don't know whether we ever look like what we write. So I'm not sure why they wanted to see me.
No, it's because you are writing on the
subject.
On
yes,
the subject.
Yes.
So it's something that everybody knows about it, but it is also still like a taboo.
It's a
thing.
taboo. That's exactly why
it's
the book is called It's a Taboo.
Yes, it's a taboo to talk about it. Like, why are you talking about this? It's the same thing as like a word like sex. It's easy to speak or to mention or to say it in an English context, right?
Yeah.
It's okay, sex is you can just say
exactly.
that. But the minute you take it into a Zulu context, like I'm Zulu, so I can't.
You're not even gonna go
I
there.
can hardly pronounce.
Yes.
I don't know when last I actually mentioned that
Yes.
word. I can't. But it's easy in English to actually say something like that. It's not a taboo word.
Yes, it has
But
been
the
sanitized in English,
It's not
right?
a taboo word. But the minute I say it in Zulu,
Yes.
it becomes a taboo. It's a taboo thing.
But in the book, I don't use the word sex. But I'm here to listen to your
I'm
questions and
just-
answer them.
I'm just using that as an example. Okay, so who did you write this book for? Who did you?
I love that question.
Who did you imagine as your ideal reader for the book?
Typically, all of us think that we could be writing for everybody. That was not my thought. Right from the beginning, I was not writing for everyone.
Yes.
I wrote for the black male. I wanted to take the black male from the closet. We play big. We'll talk about Trump and Ramaphosa. We'll talk about football. We'll talk about the economy. We play as if we have no other life, right? And the truth is, no, we are 360 people. There's so much to all of us than just the one side, the business, the job, the father, what we do
There are other
horizontally,
issues.
nocturnally, all those things. So I thought, I'm
I-
going to
can I-
help the black
yeah,
man
yes.
to come out.
Can I ask you something now? Because now you are writing erotic, your book is more erotic. You are a man, you've written in this type of book. So in your opinion, as a man, do you feel like, because now you're saying you were writing it for them per se, so do they speak in circles that you are in? Do you feel like men feel comfortable enough to talk about their, like, the type of a topic, like
No.
sex and what? Okay.
No.
Okay.
Even at
Okay.
reading the book, they still go, yo,
Okay.
you must be indifferent.
Okay.
That's what I get, right? And interesting, so I wrote for the black man, but I knew who's going to read the book. Black woman. Overwhelmingly, the book has been read by black women.
But it was for males.
But I wrote it for males. But women read it for two reasons. One, women are the readers, generally.
Yes,
If you go to books,
Yes,
women
yeah,
read
generally
books.
us, yeah.
But secondly, I suppose there was a lot of curiosity about this black man that you guys in real life never meet. Then he's in a book.
Yeah,
like,
he's
let's
in a
find out
book.
about this guy. Who's this guy?
Yeah. I think so. I think it's actually nice because I think I don't know. That's why I was asking you. I'm a female, but I really think that men don't talk as much as us. So women, we can talk about sexual experiences and all those kind of things. And if you have any difficulties, it's easy for you to talk about.
Yeah.
But men, I feel like they don't talk about those things. It's more private to them. You know, they don't. They don't.
We're
even
badly
share it.
socialized.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
terribly socialized.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So even amongst, so is it something that even amongst men don't talk about the sexual
I mean, I
part of
would say
things?
all of men don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Yeah,
sure there are
okay.
men who do, but
They are
the
generally.
general rule is that they
People
don't
keep to themselves.
accept
Okay.
when they being macho about it and posting. Ngamut,
Ah,
ngamut,"
that's
like,
the thing.
Yeah,
That's the
right?
thing.
Yeah.
If they're posting about it, same thing as
Yeah, and they're lying most of the
Let
time.
me make an
Yeah.
example.
We know they're lying.
Same thing as the gym. My husband used to say that you see, when you go to gym, well, that's what annoys him a lot. He'll be like, men are walking all over around and whatever. Then I asked him the question. I said to him, oh, okay, so they are walking there and they are not dressed, whatever. He said, yeah, they're not dressed. They're like busy putting lotions and whatever. I said, okay, because I wanted to know. I said, so what happens there then? What's happened? He said, no, it's because now people are looking at each other's sides now. So if, like you are saying,
Yeah.
like now you are posting, unless you are posting that now me, I'm like this. So now that means now people, they are checking each other now, the sizes, then they are walking very
Your
boldly.
husband is so right, and more often than not,
Yeah.
the guys who walk about without cover are the guys who believe that they are endowed. Generally, all of us who are modest cover ourselves, but the other guys like, look at me. He is very right.
It's them, it's very right.
It's a matter of interest. So,
It is.
so you guys cover yourselves in the showers.
Oh, and let me tell you, but I've actually seen a different side of when I go to gym, if there's a reason for me to bath, I think maybe I've
Yes,
bathed there once. There was no water, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, at the gym there was water. Then I
Yeah.
bathed once. And then I wanted to see as well, like women, I'm like, I'm drinking the towel there, I'm covering myself because I don't know these people. So I'm not feeling comfortable. Yes, it's women.
Yeah.
But then also, I saw that it's happening, it's not only males. Women that are parading there
Yes.
are women that are proud of either I have a big bump,
Yeah.
I have nice boobs,
My chest is good.
my chest is good.
Yeah.
She's already probably seen, not necessarily, she knows, and also probably other people that are walking, she has seen them because they are also naked. So she's seen them that, hey, maybe Nami, I'll do the same. If I can see like, now all these ones, I'm, okay,
Yes.
I'm just walking. So now same with men. So
Yeah.
he told me that it happens a lot in the gen
The
side.
change rooms, yeah.
In the gen side. So I think it's because they are also already looking at the sides, and I'm like, I'm good. So then they walk around. So yeah, so the book, men must read this book. So it's for them.
And they're starting to look, I mean, my cohort of friends have read the book. I'm hearing a lot of men telling me that they've read the book. But the reality is that I
The
still think
reality,
I'm
yeah.
sitting on, at best, 20% is men, 80% is still women.
It's still women.
Yeah.
Same with 50 Shades. 50 Shades, it's women.
Yeah.
It's literally women that were saying, even when I'm cooking, I can't put it down and stuff like that. It wasn't men. So I remember when I went to watch the movie, I didn't read those books.
Yes.
I really did not succumb to that whole thing. For some reason, I didn't. And
It was badly written, by the way. The books were badly
didn't.
written.
But then when the movie came out, I was like, there was a whole buzz around it. And then my husband said, let's go watch the movie. So I went with him to watch the movie. And I didn't see anything wrong with the movie. But then, remember, the room was full of readers who have read the book. And then all the readers were sad because they were expecting everything that's in the book to be there. So they were not happy.
In a
They
two-hour
were
movie.
literally not happy
Course.
because it was not the same as the book. So they wanted explicit,
Yeah.
explicit, same as it's how it's done in the book. But yeah. So, okay. All right. So, yeah. If the Sweetest Taboo was then adapted to be a movie or series, who will you cast as Morati? In South Africa, we want South African, a person in South Africa that we all know.
I was at a book club, I think, in Durban, and they asked me that question.
Yeah.
I battle with the answer because I don't watch.
Oh,
So I don't know.
that
I don't know the
much.
big actors, and I don't know who the who's who in the game. So, my last time I watched people acting and stuff, like they are now old. Like, I would say Siloma, but he's old. We need a 38-year-old or 30-something-year-old guy. So I don't know.
Morati is, how old is Morati?
He's 38.
He's 38. Morati is 38.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do now. So Morati is 38, so we're going to leave it to our viewers.
Yes.
So we want our viewers, we want you guys to tell us who you think Morati can be in South Africa, and we are narrowing it down to the actors.
Yeah.
That's what we want, the actors
So
in South Africa.
I'm gonna address your viewers.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look at them and say,
Yes.
however, this is a normal man. He's a banker. He's not a hunk. He's not those guys who walk in the gym and uncovered. He's just a normal banker guy. So don't think a hunk. Think a normal guy.
Yes.
Think your guy.
We want to know. We want to see who's going to get it right. And then that is going to be our Morati. Okay, guys? So that is the challenge. Okay, why did you set the book in 2008 during such a politically charged time in South African history?
Oh, okay.
You spoke about
I
earlier. Yeah.
I have to update what I said earlier.
Yeah.
So that's another biographical thing. I was in Australia in 2008.
Yes.
So because
okay.
the book is, by the way, the book is a fusion of erotica and politics.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
So the politics in Australia, I was in Australia observing them, so that's how I could interpret, I could write about the politics of Australia at the time. And incidentally, our politics in 2008,
Also,
amazing.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
the transition from Thabo Mbeki to Jacob Zuma.
Jacob Zuma was all like...
So I capture both the politics
Okay.
of South Africa and the politics of Australia.
Yes.
Because in 2008, I was in Australia and I was there when,
were there
when
when
they
all
were
that
going
happened,
through
yes.
what they call their apology.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it's aligned like that. Okay, so the sexual openness of the women Morati encounters, right? Challenges so many societal expectations. What are you inviting the reader to confront here?
First, I'm being naughty. Right? I confess up front I'm being naughty. Because there's this notion that if you're a black person and you went to Australia or New Zealand, you'd be exotic. There are not many like you there.
No.
I spent 5 to 7 weeks there. I saw only 2 black people. One was me, the other was the guy in the mirror.
Sure. So it was the two of you.
It's just us all the time, right? There are no black people. And therefore, I think inevitably, I'm sure people were looking at like, this fellow, right?
Yeah.
So I was playing on that stereotype
On the
that
stereotype,
because
yes.
you are not a usual sight,
Yeah.
people may just want to have a bite, right? But the second thing that I was doing was practically give women agency. There's this thing about men are always the ones that are going for women.
Yeah,
But in this book, I want them to go for him.
Yes.
Yeah,
other way
he's
around.
the victim in this book.
Yes.
He's the guy who's wanted by everyone. Yeah, and I mean this.
Hey, lucky Morati.
Oh, there's this woman called Cynthia Rockers. I mean, Cynthia was a vulture. She did not make him breathe for the few days that she met him because
She just wanted him.
this gotta happen.
How much of Morati's journey is a metaphor for a black South African experience in white-dominated spaces, both locally and abroad?
Quite a lot. One thing that is very clear is that what Morati experienced in Australia, that I doubt there's a black man who will tell you he's ever experienced in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's a serious metaphor about the fact that we are probably freer outside this space with people of different color.
Yeah.
We are here at home. So when we're out there, we can relate to, the world relates to us as equals.
Yes.
Than here.
Yeah.
The racial divides are still very
Yes,
serious.
very serious. Very, very serious.
You don't. People don't speak about it, but
Exactly.
it's real. It's real. It's out there.
It's out
right?
there.
And
It's out there.
and by the way,
Yeah.
answering a question that you were probably going to ask ahead, but I'm going to answer it now, even if you're not going to answer it. I also believe that that's part of the reason your conventional publishers rejected my manuscript. They are white people. They get this script.
Yeah.
And they're like,
No.
If I wrote this book and I gave it to an Australian publisher and I was based in Australia, they would have published the book quickly. They would have run to publish the book.
Why didn't you? Because I know of South African authors who are published internationally.
Yes.
So you could have easily done that, and leave the local ones.
Well, that patriotism that I wanted to write for my people. I wanted to write a book for South Africans. Australians will be secondary readers if it gets to them. And we're working on that now.
Working on that now. Oh, that's amazing. That is amazing. I'm sure they love it.
I hope they love it.
They love it.
Yeah.
They love it. And we have a lot of South Africans even there.
Yeah. Half of South Africans live there.
We all moved there. Oh my God. Okay, so what was the role of PAX in Morati's journey? And why is it so important to have a home-based voice throughout?
Because we all have that PAX in our life. All of us have this one friend that, when things have happened, you can't wait to call him,
the
right?
first person you tell, yeah.
And that's PAX. These guys were at school together. They've known each other for life.
Years,
they've always been there. So he's the guy he speaks to, right? And he always cannot wait for the moment. But for Morati, to be also honest, is that it's his connection to home. He's away in the world. He's a single man. He's divorced. I mean, he does speak to his children and his ex-wife, but his real connection to home is this one fellow. So he cannot wait to connect to him, both for telling him about his adventures, but also to connect to home. So that connection to PAX is very important. We all have a PAX in our lives.
Yes, we all have a PAX in our lives, and we all need one.
We all need one.
We all definitely need one.
Of course, for PAX, it was like, damn, you lucky bugger. I should have been there.
You lucky bastard. Oh, my God. So what I wanted to ask you, on the books, right, in South Africa now, we'll go to the shops, we're looking for a book, like a certain genre. Let's say I'm looking at the erotic books, I love to read those kind of books as well. So we don't see much of these kind of books, You've written this book, right? And maybe you're going to write another one. I don't know. You are busy writing another one. And then, what I wanted to ask is, what do you want to see? Do you want to see more writers coming into this space?
I hope so. I'd like to see more people writing, because that's how it grows. If there's one or two authors, it will never grow. This is very dangerous. The danger is that you could get tired of my voice. It's easier when there are other voices. Then it may say to you, I must revisit Rams and see what is his next project.
Okay.
But when it's only me, it's almost like when football was Pirates and Chiefs.
Yeah.
I think it got to a point where people got tired, right?
Bored,
Although we're getting tired of Sundowns now, but that's another matter. So I think when there are more authors, it helps all of us in the game. It's not competition. We actually help each other to grow.
Yes, I think I would like to see more, because if I'm thinking about it, exclusive books, we visit those shops a lot. And when you get to that section, they actually do have that particular section where you find the 50 Shades and that section. And most of those books are all foreign books. The majority, actually 99%, I can say that. 99% of those books are actually not from South Africa. So you hardly find, so I really, really challenge people. Guys, I'm challenging the audience, please, the viewers, the writers, upcoming authors. People must not be scared to actually tap into. We love to read this kind of books.
As an author of this,
you understand? Keep people alive. I mean, it's nice. It's
so
nice.
I'm a bit conflicted. So if you went to a bookstore, my book would be on fiction, right?
Yes.
Which is fiction.
Yes.
Part of me would have loved to see the book on a section called erotica, right?
Yeah.
But the problem with that part is that a lot of people may not go there because
they are scared.
Who's going to see me here, right? But I think it's the right space to be, because I think an erotica reader will find my book.
Yeah, I think they what are they? They're saying fiction. It's fiction romance. No. There's something that they call it in the bookstores.
I think that's where I want my book, because even worse, I think they even with this one they put it under South African fiction. Now,
No.
there may be somebody who's not interested in South African fiction,
No,
but they may be interested in erotica.
Erotic,
Right.
yes. Yes. No, we must make sure.
Well, we must have our own bookshops.
Exactly. We must have our own bookshop and we must sell exclusive
That's
books.
here.
And the
We'll come, this is a
other
Tangala.
independent bookstores. We want the section there. So that some people walk boldly there. What's the problem?
So I'm going to wear my businessman hat
Yeah.
and defend those bookshops.
Yeah.
Because they'll say, on any given day when our shop is open,
Yeah.
only 1% of you guys walk in. Why should we worry about that? Because we don't buy books, Penny. It's a sad thing. I sit at a bookshop and I look at it and like,
People don't buy books.
I think we should sell books at retail stores, at grocery stores and clothing shops. Maybe people will bump into a book as they buy in lingerie. But in a bookshop, it's tough.
But that's the thing. That's the whole idea, even with this podcast, where the reason why I started this whole thing with the book, when you asked me earlier why I started this whole, for me, it seemed like it's a movement. You understand? It was a movement to say, we are not reading, like children are not reading. My son is on gadgets and everything. The book, he reads it because he has to read it for school.
School book.
It's a school book. Then even that book, he asked me, Mommy, can you please help me to finish these chapters, whatever. A tiny, tiny book, because he feels like he's wasting his time. Everybody should have a book next to their bed. Everyone. You should read a book, whether it's a self-help book, whether it's
12 minutes a day. That's all you have to do. Just
please,
12 minutes a day. You know what it does for your brains? It's just something else.
But then it's what you're saying. What I'm seeing also, there is this growth in terms of South African writers. People I used to be very bored before, because you'll get to South African books, like we get to exclusive books, South African books. Most of the books that you find, they are talking about whether it's apartheid, whether it is, about somebody's biography and all those kind of things. It used to be boring. But then now I can see people are coming out of the chair, and people are writing on so many different topics. They're tackling different things. But still, this one, I'm saying it's not one of the topics that people are dwelling on.
Not at all.
They haven't.
But part of the problem, and I say this, and I hope I don't scare them from your podcast, part of the problem is the publishers. They actually make black authors do that. They go and write about your struggles, write about how you're suffering as a woman, go write about what apartheid did to you, or how you survived as a black woman in the corporate world, as if we have no life, as if that's all we are, right? And I'm saying we are also this.
Exactly. It's like, now I'm going to tell you a legal story. Like also, I was telling my team that I was like, it also like pissed me off with the company that I work for. So they are owned by an international like they're owned overseas, right? Then there are certain times when people have to go from the South Africa to actually go and visit actually US.
Yes.
It's US. Then they visit US, but then they form like a group of singers here in South Africa that are chosen from different divisions, that you are part of the choir that's going overseas. I'm telling you right now, same thing, the stereotype. Because you are going overseas, you cannot even dance. Sing the traditional song. African people don't want to hear or see you dance. You must perform like an African, do African dance, whatever, and the songs that you are singing, it must have these like sounds. That's what they want to hear.
Take South Africa to the world.
Yes, take South Africa to the world. But up until when? Up until when it's going to stop? They wanted to dance, to move. They were told no. Choreographer said, stop it. They don't want to see that day. They want to see Africa. So, but now it's how many years down the line, honestly? So that is the same thing with what you're saying with the publishers. That why do they still want people to talk about something like that's been spoken over and over again? It's there's a lot of other things.
I call it hardship porn.
No.
It's hardship porn. The publishers want to present us as people who are only going through hardships in life.
Yeah. No, definitely. No, it must stop. We want to write other things now. We want to see other things. And I can boldly say, when you go to the likes of exclusive books, still when you go to those books, yes, there is more African authors writing, but still when I get there, because I have a podcast, we go sometimes to say, okay, let's look what's new there. If we are at the mall and take pictures, oh, we love this book, okay, let's reach out this author. We still are very, very limited to people that we can actually call in, and people that have written like interesting things, whatever. So I still think there's a huge challenge that upcoming authors, the youngsters, it's Youth Month this month, people who wants to, like I said to you, we'll have a podcast with the publishers. We also want to know what is their expectations. Why? Because these youngsters that are coming up who wants to rise, they need to know what to think about when they are writing, what to do, what not to do for them to be published. Because the main thing, people still want to be published. I don't care what anyone says, that self-publishing, it's easy now with all these social media platforms. People still feel that pride if their book is published. That you cannot take away. Whatever it is that the person says, they still want their books to be there. So therefore, that's why I'm saying these publishers, these big ones, they need to tell us. Penguins, all these ones.
All of them.
Tell us, why are you rejecting somebody's book? On what basis? So that these people who are coming up will know, okay, this is what I need to do for me to conform to their standards. So that I don't write and then at the end, then I'm like, no, my book is not good enough. So now what is it that I'm supposed to do for me to actually be selected? And also for young people or writers not to limit themselves. The world is huge now. Don't look here. Don't look at South Africa and say, okay, the publishers here, they say, no. People must look abroad.
Indeed.
The world is amazing.
Indeed.
It's huge. It's very, very huge.
Listen, if you wrote a book and it got published in one province in Nigeria,
yeah,
you're made. You're made. Right? Why are we thinking only here?
Exactly.
That's how huge that market is, and they read.
That market is.
So think beyond these borders.
Think beyond these borders. We're talking about your book earlier, that is women that have read the book the most, right?
Yes.
20% is men. So it's funny thing like this. Now you spoke about Nigeria because Damilare, she wrote this book. Also, it was talking about men. I forgot what the title is, but it talks about the men, Nigerian men.
Yes.
So she is talking about them a lot. They are, their expectations of women and this and that. So a lot, but this was the angle. Men read the book.
Yeah.
Because they knew that everything that they wanted to know, and they challenged her a lot. She wasn't popular amongst men now.
Yes.
Men were like attacking, on that end, because the book was talking everything that they are and how they are treating women in Nigeria. So they ended up reading the book because they wanted to know what is being said about this.
Yeah.
Okay, so what does the Sweetest Taboo reveal about the psychological burden of representation in Morati being the only black man at the dinner party?
Because he's a professional, he doesn't suffer any psychological burden. He's a man of himself.
Yeah.
He's sitting among equals.
Yes.
So he's not feeling like I'm a nobody among these people. When he sits in that room, he's speaking to fellow bankers as a banker. So he's not at all affected. In fact, if only his biggest burden is what happens outside the boardrooms. Like handling the other stuff outside the boardroom. But in the boardrooms, this is a well-accomplished person. And again, it probably speaks to what we just spoke about now. I did not want to portray another struggling black. No, because there's plenty out there. There are many successful black people, right? And I just wanted to portray a guy who can stand his own in the world. And he did.
And he did. Yeah. Hi, this book is, you're going to see it on the series on TV.
I can't wait.
I'm telling you, we're going to say.
I hope the producers are listening.
And I'm going to say I interviewed him.
You don't even have to say, just show them the clip. Yep. The evidence lives forever.
Okay, how would you think this book would have been received if it was written by a woman or from a woman's point of view?
I think it would have sold 300 times more.
Yes, because we're readers.
But also because I think it would have been even more emotive. It would be
Softer.
To be softer, right?
I get you.
So
Yeah.
I cannot escape the fact that I'm a man. So, and I, somebody once asked me about this and like, this is a man's writing. Oh, but of course I am. That's
am
all
a
I've
man.
been for
Yes.
all my life.
Yes.
In fact, there's
That's
never a
what you
moment.
know as
There's never a
well.
moment when I was never a man. From the day I was conceived.
Yes,
Right?
yes,
No, maybe
yes,
not conceived because they say we become male later before birth.
Yeah.
But fact is, I think a woman would have put some eyes onto this. I mean, I read a lot of other women who, and there's envy. It's like, I like that touch. I seen what's it, Jackie Pamot's in one of her books.
Yeah, Jackie. Okay.
I mean, she speaks about a dress and a slit, and like, I can see a woman knows this stuff. She gets it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's slightly different when a woman has done it.
It's likely.
But I promise you, something you need to know. It gets even more fascinating in African languages. Motswana writer from Botswana who writes erotica. There's a book called Dinotsi.
And he's writing in Setswana.
Poetry. It's poetry.
I don't think.
I guess it could be a bit tough.
It's Zulu.
No.
Oh, I'm trying to think about it.
No,
I'm like,
there are many other words
Okay.
that could be used,
Okay.
and probably akona, much deeper in the rurals that they use, and they're still good ways that
Yeah.
people understand. They're not vulgar, they're not raw.
Yes.
Yeah, is that the Tina, the urban people?
Yeah.
We move quickly from the sanitized to Glalala to what I'm not gonna say now. Right?
I'm like I'm still yet to see a Zulu. Because now if you are trying to be very descriptive like that and using Zulu, no. Or maybe it's because I'm Zulu. Maybe if a person who's not Zulu is reading the book, maybe they won't feel the same way as me.
No, but I also say that let's not limit ourselves.
Yeah.
There is huge vocabulary. We're not getting it because we're not writing in.
Yes, in Sizulu.
Yeah. So that vocabulary is hidden somewhere. We either know the soft or the vulgar, but there's so much more elsewhere.
You know why? I think some people will then be scared. Also, it's the culture. It's then you are thinking of that as well. They're thinking of people who are read. They'll be like, "How dare you?" There is that element also. I think with us.
With African people,
with
yes,
African
it's still a
people.
problem.
Then it's seen
Our
as
culture is
inappropriate.
a bottleneck.
Exactly.
It's a bottleneck.
Exactly.
And I can imagine Tuelo in Botswana writing a book like this. I don't think his book is flying off the shelves. I think it's probably bought more here than back home. But somebody has to push the boundaries.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm doing it, he's doing it. We all have to push the boundaries.
Yes. And somebody needs to tell. Maybe I must write the Zulu one.
Let's write the Zulu one. Or translate this one into Zulu.
You've worked in the media and storytelling for years. How has a journalistic background influenced your fiction writing?
A lot. So writing is not a difficult thing because I've been writing for 31 years.
Yes.
I write. That's what I do.
Industry. Yes.
That's why I'm sitting down and writing this book.
Yes.
I mean, I tell people whatever book I write, when I start the first page, I already know where the book is going to end. I've already written the book here. To translate it from my fingers to the laptop or the keyboard is the easiest part. So I spend more time creating it in my head. And the day I sit down to write, when I say this, and I tell people I'm not doubting that I'm vain when I say this.
Yeah.
You may not like erotica. You may think that I am poor in description of stuff, or I'm too raw. Blah. You may think all of the things, but let me tell you one thing you can never think once you've read this book. That is not well written. That much I can tell you. It is well written because writing is what I do.
It's what I do.
Yeah.
For years, for many years. It's what you do.
I do that. Yeah.
Yes, you did it daily. Wow. Okay, in the age of cancel culture and moral judgment, were you worried about how people will interpret the book content?
Thickest skin you can ever find out. I knew there would be people who and I even thought others would vocalize it. So far, nobody has vocalized it, but I was never going to be bothered at all. Break the law.
Yeah.
I didn't steal anybody's anything. I mean, it's creative. It's creative expression,
creative,
right? That's all it is. That's all I'm doing here. If you don't like it, don't pick it up.
Yep.
Like it, please let's walk along together. But I was never going to be bothered, like at all. I've got the thickest skin you can ever
You
find.
worry about your readers, what they say on the social media platforms. You don't even.
I don't
look
even
at it.
engage.
You don't even
I'm the kind of
engage.
guy who puts something and people respond and like, I don't say what I wanted to say. It's okay, I move on, right? You have a right to your view. I don't have to
Yes,
engage it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you, I had only two worries. One is that I run my own business and I'm just thinking, is there a conservative client or would-be client who thinks you're this type of guy, so I'm not going to give you my business. But at the same time, I'm thinking, maybe I don't want to relate with you anyway if you're that kind of person.
Yep.
Right? The other one was just sadness of knowing that my children have to wait a bit before they can read the book. That's all. I'd love for them to read the book, but not now.
Yeah. Exactly.
They know what the book is about. I told them what the book is about.
Yeah.
Erotica. Go look it up. Go to Google and read
Go
what is
Google.
erotica. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a thing, because if you worry yourself about what people are saying, the readers, and what if I'm this is not my type of genre. I don't like erotic books, so obviously I'm going to read it. Some people will read up until the end of the page. They'll finish the book just to actually criticize and say whatever it
In fact,
is.
haters do that more than
they
lovers.
will do
right?
that.
Yeah.
They'll finish it, so that they can actually say a comment.
Yes.
So, and comments and stuff like that. So so that's what I've learned also in my job, what I'm doing, that there will be people that actually comment about the genre that they don't like, and then they'll say bad things to authors. I've heard authors say stuff like that. Then they tend then to stay away from social media for those type of things. So, because if you keep on commenting, then you are entertaining them as
You're
well.
giving them oxygen.
You're giving them that. So you wake up in the morning, you're taking what are they saying? And then now you are busy engaging. Then Penny sitting on the other side is happy that, Rams is engaging with me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep on sending stuff. And then, good. Stay away from those things.
Now,
Stay away from them.
now I'm comfortable in my space.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you one question that I always ask everyone who comes to my platform. Like, what is that one thing that in 100 years you want to be remembered by? Like who was Rams? What did Ram do? What is that thing that you want to be remembered? You have a book now, so you'll never perish. Your name is there. So now, but what is that one thing that you want to be known about that you've done?
I tried. You can go through my history. I tried. I've never not tried. I never thought this I cannot do. And that's why I've got a million failures. But it's because I always tried. Anybody who knows me will tell you this guy kept on trying. He kept on innovating. He kept on coming up with another idea. So that must be written on my tomb. I tried.
Oh, gosh. Thank you so much, Rams. Okay, guys, we've come to the end of our interview. It wasn't an interview, conversation with Rams. It's our episode 8 of Bookmark Conversations. Rams, what would you like to say to the viewers about the book? When they pick up the book, what can they expect? Like in one sentence.
You're going to be transported into a world you've always wanted to live in.
Well said. Okay, guys, so please stay tuned and please just keep those notifications open, and then please subscribe to our page on our Bookmark Conversations. So we've come to the end of our interview with Rams. It's been a good one, so thank you, Rams, for making time to come to chat with us today. We are looking forward to a relationship with you. It doesn't end here. We're still going to be chatting. So and he's going to be on our upcoming magazine, so please be on the lookout for that. He's going to be there, and so it's a wrap for us. Thank you so much, guys. Bye.
Thank you, Penny.